Have you ever wondered what makes HMRC's powerful systems suddenly zero in on your business? Well, it's not always what you think. Today, in this special presentation brought to you by the experts at My Tax Accountant, we're pulling back the curtain on the specific, often hidden triggers that could put you right under the microscope. Let's dive in. So let's just start with a question that is at the absolute heart of tax compliance in 2026. How on earth does HMRC sift through a literal ocean of data to pinpoint just one business for an investigation? The answer, as you'll see, lies in some incredibly powerful technology that is always learning. And believe me, the stakes are massive. This isn't just some random number. This is 1.5 billion pounds. That's how much tax just one of HMRC's specialist teams clawed back in a single year. It just goes to show you the resources they have and, honestly, the immense pressure they are under to get results. Right, so over the next few minutes, here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with HMRC's AI watchdog. Then we'll decode that official letter you never want to see. After that, we'll get into the really juicy stuff, the uncommon triggers that catch most people out. We'll also cover how far back they can look and, most importantly, show you how to build a bulletproof defense. And make sure you stick around because at the end, we'll show you exactly where to get expert help. Okay, so first up, how does HMRC even manage all of this? Well, let's meet their primary weapon. It's a billion-pound AI watchdog at the very center of their whole strategy. Its name is Connect, and you need to know, it never, ever sleeps. So what exactly is Connect? Honestly, think of it as the ultimate digital detective. It's this hugely sophisticated AI data matching tool, but it's more than just a piece of software. It's an unemotional, pattern-seeking machine. Its only job is to scan, connect, and cross-reference financial data from countless sources to find the one thing that just doesn't add up, the one inconsistency that flags a case for a human to review. Now, when I say vast amounts of data, it's kind of hard to picture the scale. The Connect system analyzes an estimated 55 times billion separate pieces of data. That's billion with a B. And we're not just talking about your tax return here. This is your entire digital financial footprint, all pulled into one place for analysis. So where does it get all this information? Well, just look at this list. Connect builds a complete picture of your finances from, well, everywhere. It sees the interest your bank pays you, it sees property data from the land registry, and of course, it sees everything you submit, like your employee tax data from PAYE and your VAT returns. It even pulls data from Companies House and tracks sales on online marketplaces. It sees everything. And that brings us to the next step, doesn't it? What actually happens when that algorithm flags something? Let's talk about the reality of an investigation and that sinking feeling in the pit of your stomach when that very specific brown envelope lands on your doormat. Okay, here is a massive pro tip. Please burn this into your memory. In today's world of super convincing scams, a real HMRC investigation will not start with a threatening phone call or an urgent email. It begins almost always with an official brown and white letter. So if you get a call demanding money and threatening arrest, just hang up. It's a scam. Now, once that official letter does arrive, the investigation is usually one of three types. It might be an aspect inquiry. Think of that as a targeted check, maybe just on your travel expenses. Or it could be a full inquiry, which is much more serious, a complete review of all your business records for that year. And sometimes, it's just a random check for quality control, but that's pretty rare. All right, this is the real heart of what we're talking about today. Let's get into the uncommon triggers, the things that, from an auditor's point of view, really stand out. And you know what? They're often just honest mistakes that end up waving a giant red flag at the algorithm. And stay with me, because this next point might actually surprise you. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because it's all about perspective. Let's say you have a fantastic year. Your turnover doubles. For you, that's amazing news. But for HMRC's AI, it's a statistical anomaly. From an auditor's perspective, rapid, unexplained growth can be a sign that your systems are struggling, and maybe cash is going unaccounted for. It doesn't mean they think you're a criminal, but it absolutely means they want to know why your numbers look so different. And this chart illustrates that point perfectly. See, HMRC has benchmark data on the typical gross profit margin for almost every industry you can think of. If your company's accounts show a profit margin that's way out of line with that benchmark, like you see here, it stands out immediately. It is a simple mathematical red flag the system is built to find. And that's not all. Here's where so many people go wrong. Mismatched data. This is probably the single most common trigger, and often it's just down to a simple typo. If the turnover you declare on your quarterly VAT return doesn't perfectly match the turnover in your year-end accounts, Connect spots it instantly. Human error is that algorithm's best friend.
Here's a perfect real-world example of that. Let's say a freelance designer in London correctly reports her earnings of £45,670, but a busy accounts person at one of her clients makes a simple keyboard mistake and reports paying her £54,670. The Connect system sees two different numbers for the same person, and bang, an alert is triggered. And now that poor freelancer has all the stress of proving the mistake wasn't hers.
So you see, the crucial thing to understand is that it's not just about the numbers. It's about the patterns of your behavior. Consistently filing your returns late is another major trigger. To an auditor, a pattern of lateness just screams chaos. And where there's chaos in the books, that's where errors and, yeah, sometimes deliberate omissions tend to hide. It just paints a picture of a high-risk business. And here's a little insider fact for you. Did you know that if you submit a VAT return and you're claiming an unusually large refund, it's almost guaranteed to be paused? Yep, before any money gets paid out, it gets flagged and passed to a human compliance officer for a manual review, just to make sure it's legit. It's a huge area for fraud, so they watch it like a hawk. This all leads to one of the most common and, let's be honest, fear-inducing questions we hear. Just how far back can HMRC actually dig into my company's finances? So let's get clear on the official time limits. Okay, so the look-back period really depends on how HMRC views your behavior. If they think you've made an innocent mistake, they can generally only go back 4 years. If the problem came from what they call carelessness, like not keeping proper records, that period extends to 6 years. But, and this is the big one, for cases they believe involve deliberate behavior, which is basically knowingly misleading them, they can go back a full 20 years. Right. Now that we understand the risks and the triggers, let's switch gears and talk about the solution. This is all about being proactive, not reactive. So let's talk about the practical steps you can take right now to build your bulletproof defense and keep your business off that radar. It honestly comes down to these 4 pillars of good practice. First, disciplined bookkeeping. It's just not negotiable. That means clean, accurate records kept up to date in real time. Second, be timely. Always. Filing and paying on time is key. Third, do a preemptive review. Before you hit submit, just do a quick self-audit and check for the exact red flags we've been talking about. And finally, if you do get that letter, your very first call should be to get professional representation. And here's our final pro tip on that. Bringing in an expert like the team at My Tax Accountant is not an admission of guilt. It's the smartest, most professional thing you can do. They speak HMRC's language. This immediately de-escalates everything, helps manage the flow of information, and can seriously shorten the entire stressful process. Which leads us perfectly into our final section. Let's talk about getting that expert help, because truly, no business owner should ever have to face the stress and complexity of an HMRC investigation by themselves. So after everything we've talked about, the real question is this. If that brown envelope landed on your desk tomorrow, is your business ready? Are you truly confident your records could stand up to that kind of scrutiny? If you have even the slightest doubt, or you just want the peace of mind that comes from knowing your business is protected, please get in touch with My Tax Accountant. Their team offers specialist guidance on tax compliance and provides full, robust support if you ever face an investigation. All their contact details are right there on the screen. And of course, for more insights like this to help your business stay compliant and successful, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We post expert tax advice specifically for UK businesses all the time. Now, it's really important that I mention this. The information we've shared today is for general guidance only, and it's not a substitute for professional advice. Tax is complicated and it's personal, so before you take any action, you must consult a qualified tax expert. Thank you so much for watching. Please, don't leave your business's financial health to chance. Get in touch with the experts at My Tax Accountant today and make sure you're fully protected.